The genesis of the free class, specifically this one in October, was as a result of my cousin who actually responded to one of my statuses with the paid classes that I typically do. So she was saying, or she asked to say, what about us who are students who don't have stable incomes and also rely on parents? What can we do as far as investing? And that really got me thinking, because the whole theme of investing, one of the things that are beneficial when it comes to investing is that you start as early as possible. So I'm not going to assume that everyone here is a student, even though this class was meant for people in college or in university, but I'll assume everyone is a beginner with regards to investing. So the sooner you start, the earlier, the better, and the more money you are going to make over time, because really the key with making more money is time. Time is one of the most precious resources that we have. So hence our class. So here's a brief outline in terms of what we are going to discuss in today's class. So I'll go through organization, and I really think organization alone and starting that process is one of the hindrances as far as getting yourselves organized with finances and even getting started with investing. Then I'll quickly touch on bank accounts, specifically your transaction account, which I'm calling your checking account, and then 2 savings accounts that you kind of need to have. So I won't even give you a recommendation in terms of which banks you should open them with, but I'll just give you the characteristics, and then from there you should be able to do your own back research and then figure out what fits for you. Then we shall look at some of the financial tools I recommend and apps, and how important budgeting and planning is, even when it comes to investing. And then, of course, section 5, which is really the main focus of today. And then finally, debt management. So just as an intro, my name is Victoria Chama. I am an investor and a financial literacy educator. And I think this is relevant because you kind of need to know where it is that you are getting this information. Even though I am a financial literacy educator, I am not certified or authorized to give out any financial advice. I can educate, but I can't give you financial advice. But I think we learn better when we see peers or people whom we see or interact with on a day-to-day basis doing certain things. And that's typically why I started my financial journey publicly on Facebook and Instagram, basically just to show you exactly how to go about building wealth in Zambia, because for the most part, talking about money is kind of like taboo. It's not an open thing that we are allowed to discuss. Even things like how much do you get paid from your job is such, you don't even know where to ask. And even when you ask someone, the reaction that you typically get from people is like, why are you asking me that? But we should be able to talk about money freely, not as a way to pin people down, but just as a way of understanding how people are going about doing certain things, because managing finances isn't taught to us from primary or secondary school. And yet, somehow we are suddenly supposed to know exactly how to manage money once we become adults and start getting paid. So for me specifically, I've been investing for over 4 years now. I need to update this. And currently, I have 4 active passive income generators. And for me, I love passive income generators because I have Korean dramas to watch. So I usually get income through unit trust interest, bond discount interest, bond coupons, and dividends. So these are the current income sources that I have. And just to reiterate the disclaimer to say that here we are just learning, we're just discussing finances. We are not necessarily here to give you any advice. So please make sure that after this, you go do your own research. And if you want financial advice, you are supposed to go and see someone who's registered with SEC. And this is our governing body that does all the financial regulations in Zambia. So Securities Exchange Commission, SEC. Those are the people whom you should validate. So without further ado, we are simply going to go straight into point or section 1. For the people that have just joined us, please take note of the poll that is currently up and just answer those 4 questions for me quickly, and then I'm going to do an assessment thereafter. So organization, literally organizing your life is going to be the foundation for making your financial life even easier. But specifically when you talk about finances, this is what I mean. So this is one of the easiest things that you can do for yourself to set yourself up financially. Now, most people don't even have a certified NRC. So if you check your emails, I sent out an email, I think about 16 hours or 17, guiding you to a resource on my website where I have given you the blueprint of the actual financial folder that I use even in my day-to-day life as far as organizing my finances. So there you're going to see a budgeting folder, an investing folder, and even a documentation folder. So when you talk about documentation, you need to have these things done separately. You should have your digital folder. So this is something that you're going to keep in your PC, and even later on, upgrade that and even put that on a cloud storage like Google Drive or Dropbox or something. Then you should also have a physical folder that you keep with you that is going to have all these documents. Of course, you're going to have a proper email. And the way I'm saying proper email is because you would want your email to at least be close to something that is your government name. You don't want babygirl something at gmail.com. So something close to your name. Otherwise, people might think it's spam. Then when it comes to your NRC, you're going to do it 2 ways, actually 4 ways. In your folder that I have given you, the finances folder, you're going to have a certified copy and a non-certified copy. Above and beyond that, you're going to have variations of the 2. You're going to have a certified copy of an NRC in color and also a certified copy or a non-certified one as well in black and white, or a variation of this. This is really important when it comes to documentation because there are certain institutions or financial products that would want things in color, black and white, certified, not certified. So it's always important and very useful to have everything. And remember, as we go through the lecture slides, the theme is what are some of the things that I can do to set myself up so that when it really comes to investing heavily, once you have that stable income, once you have all your savings, your sinking funds in check, it becomes easier. So setting things up just like your NRC, you should have these versions. And above and beyond that, you should have PDF versions of them, and you have images as well. This is in your digital folder, eh? And then, of course, your physical folder, you are just going to have it on paper. Then the second document you're going to prepare is going to be your tipping certificate. And this one, you're going to retrieve this from ZRA. So if you don't have your tipping certificate, you're either going to go to ZRA and physically ask it to be sent to your email. They can do that. And then you're going to store it in your relevant folder. Then you're also going to have passport size photos, both in your digital folder and in your physical folder. I always have passport size photos on me, at least a minimum of 5 or 10 in my wallet all the time. Because for whatever reason, especially with the unit trusts want all the documents possible in terms of your KYC documents. They want everything, even a passport size photo. Then you're going to find a utility bill. Now, these ones are even more trickier to find and organize because typically now we have prepaid options, especially with electricity and water. But you kind of need to find a utility bill. Unit trusts, again, they want a utility bill of some sort. Then you're also going to have your bank statements. These ones are also easy to get. And it's always a good idea to update this document at least once a year, because the rule of thumb is they would want your last 6 months or your last previous 3 months bank statement. And then just at the bottom, it doesn't necessarily have to do with documentation, but as an active activity, you can also buy yourself a piggy bank from China Mall just to save some coins and cash. And the key with piggy banks, however, is you should have a realistic goal, a determined goal that you want to use that money for. For example, if I were to buy a piggy bank now, I would probably say the money that I'm going to fundraise this is going to be for a chill event somewhere, or I want to buy a nice pair of sneakers or something, or whatever it may be. If you're a student, it might be saving up for my graduation party, or what have you, whatever it is that speaks to you at that point in time, you label or identify what that saving goal will be. The idea is you should start getting used with the act and the habit of saving. So that is documentation. So visually, this is what this looks like. When you go to the website, you're going to find a zip folder. We are going to unzip that folder, and then you're going to find these 3 files inside. So the folder called budgeting and planning, there's a folder called documentation and investing. So, because I'm a very practical person, I'll actually show you what this looks like for myself. So this is my finances folder. And these are the folders that I've shared with you. So this is literally what I use on a day-to-day basis. So if we go to documentation, which is the section that we've just discussed, so you're going to have all these subfolders already pre-created. So all you have to do is now just start populating everything in there. So if you go in your tipping certificate folder, you should have your tipping certificate. If you go to your signature folder, you should have a signature folder with a transparent background, because you're going to be signing a lot of documents online. If you go to your IDs and identification, these are the same ones I was talking about. Certified versions, black and white, your passport, your NRC, whatever it is. When you go to your bank statements, if you've got if you bank with 5 banks, you're going to create subfolders for all those banks and then organize them accordingly. But that is your documentation, and you should start getting your life organized like that. It will really go a long way. All right. So organization, very, very good. Actually, you know what? Let me also show you the investing one as well. I think the investing one is also helpful. So if I go back to the main folder and go to the investing folder specifically, you're going to have a list of all the different investment options that you're currently actively participating in. So you're going to have things like fixed deposit, your government securities. If you've got real estate and property, you're going to put your title deeds, your maintenance works, your tenants agreements, you name them, all those things. So if we go, let's say, to stocks. In stocks, these are the subfolders that I've created. So all of these things are there. So every time you make contributions and deposits into it, you are even going to, so for me, I am a little bit OCD, so I even organize them. So all these are instructions or deposits for shares that I've bought, and I usually name my files according to the month. If it's 2 deposits the same month, I might even write the date, but this is what this will look like. What else is there in stocks? You have your receipts. When you receive receipts from your brokers, this is typically where you go. So all my receipts currently are online, and I need to download them actually here. And then when you go to accounts, this is where you should find anything related to that specific investment for accounts. So that is stocks. When you go to government securities, you're going to have the 2 types of government securities there: bonds, treasury bills. When you go into each, you're going to see everything that you need to know about that thing. So that way things are organized and you kind of know exactly where everything is. So this file, this very folder, I have given it to you. So if you signed up for the class, I have your email, and I sent you the email, and I sent you the link. So you should be able to download that and use it for yourselves. So that is under organization. Really organizing yourself is going to set you up for winning, especially when it comes to opening up your accounts. Then we look at part number 2, bank accounts and your transaction accounts. Now, your salary account, or your account that you receive your money, whether it is mobile money, because mobile money seems to be very prominent now in terms of usage, you kind of need to figure out and visualize what your system is. And the more transactional accounts you have, the harder it is to track money, and the easier it is to lose money, in terms of losing money, in terms of you want to know where money went, because you will find yourself in scenarios to say, oh, so and so sent me 700, but when you add up all the things that you bought, you can't articulate where that 700 is. Maybe you might only have 400 of it, 300 gone down the drain. So when it comes to bank accounts and transactional accounts especially, my advice is you need to keep this to one account. If you can, just one transaction account where your money moves in and out, because it's easy to manage. Then another point I have raised here is that this should also be the cheapest account you ever own. When you have a transaction account where money is moving in and out all the time, this should not be the fanciest thing. You should really make sure that whatever product you are signing up for from the bank works for your best interest. On top of that, down the line, once you do a self-audit and you're saying, no, I can't be paying 215 kwacha to keep a bank account open, especially when they have cheaper options available and you are not using all the bells and whistles that that account comes with. If you signed up for it for a specific reason and you do no longer need that thing, you can ask your bank representative to downgrade your account. It is not against the law. And if they refuse to do that, my friend, close. I think it was last year that I had like a bazillion bank accounts, probably even 10. I am now down to two transaction accounts and 3 savings accounts, so 5. And the savings accounts don't even count because they barely have any transactions moving out of them. So your transaction account should be easy, should facilitate your goals, and should be as cheap as it can be. Then when we look at savings accounts, especially when you get into finances, they usually go through a phase that I call just wanting to have like a savings account for everything. So no, I'm saving to buy a new car. I'm going to open a savings account in dollar. No, I need to save for my wedding, a new savings account. No, I need to save for, what else do people save things for these days? Car, land, you open up a new savings account. No, I need a savings account for this. Really? And I know this because I have done this. And this is because I had 10 accounts, all in all, transaction and saving. Really, you just need 2 savings accounts. That's it. One savings account is going to hold your emergency fund. And your emergency fund is basically your buffer that you are going to use, or in the event that you lose your job, you have something to fall back on. And this is finance 101, regardless of where you go. Everyone advocates for you to start building an emergency fund. And this should be one of your savings goals. Then your second savings could be a sinking fund. And the sinking fund is basically a methodology that people typically use to save up small amounts of money at a time before they get to the end goal of that big thing. So for example, Christmas is around the corner, literally a month from now. The time you should have started saving up for Christmas was in December last year or January this year. You cannot start saying that you're going to start doing December, Christmas, New Year choose with your September salary. And literally that is why there is that period where people say there is no money in January. It's simply because people use their December pay to facilitate December activities when they should be using it to do January activities. So really, the sinking fund allows you to start saving small amounts of money. So it's like, okay, every month I'll remove 100 kwacha so that by the time it's Christmas, I'll have a 1,200 or whatever it is that's realistic for you in your situation. You are going to decide your Christmas budget, divide that by 11 months, and then slowly start removing that money until you get to that goal. So really, 2 savings accounts are all that you need. If you want to be fancy, maybe 4, but after that, it's really not necessary. And before I go away from the topic of savings accounts, if you are not an official registered trading business doing goods or services in US dollar, there is no need for the normal Jim and Jack to have a US dollar account, honestly speaking. If you have a US dollar, no, what if the dollar, unless you are into Forex and that's an investing strategy. But if you are having it just solely because it's a product that's out there and you've heard someone say, no, I bought the dollars at 12 kwacha, now it's at, I don't even know if it's 22 now or 21, I have made money. Nope. If they are not a business, a registered entity, doing good, providing goods and services to the Zambian public, trading in the US dollar currency, there is no need for you and me to honestly have US dollar accounts. And that is my personal opinion, eh? And again, that is not a financial fact, which is why I'm saying, please take everything you hear here, the grain of salt. And the reason why I'm saying this is because the interest rate on the US dollar account is non-existent, to be honest. It's the 0 point somethings. And sometimes they even have maintenance fees. Why should you have maintenance, $5 maintenance for a US dollar account when you don't even deposit more than $500 per month in it, by the way? So you really have to think about the reasons why we do certain things. And the US dollar is one of them. And the reason why I'm saying this is because I also had one. And my justification then was, no, I'm going to buy a car because the car I'm going to buy will have the US dollar currency. So I might as well start saving in that currency already, so that when it's time to buy the car, it will match. It's like, no, just save in kwacha. Then when you buy, there are systems in place to do the conversions for you. There is no need for you to save in dollar, honestly, but to each their own. That is just my experience. Also, factors when selecting savings accounts, regardless of which bank you're going to. One, interest rates. Again, a savings account is meant to hold money. A savings account is not meant to get rich. Saving and investing are two separate activities. In the same way that cooking and bathing are two separate activities. Those things should not be interlinked anywhere whatsoever. So therefore, when you're looking at a savings account, you're just looking for a temporal storage to hold money, so that when you get to that savings goal, you have the money readily available. On the other hand, when you invest your money, you are trying to make sure that the money does a lot of heavy lifting, hustling, you name it, going debt in the, like, it's really working for you, so that over time, over a long period of time, you and your money, especially your money, has done a lot of the work to build more wealth over time. But you're not going to find wealth in a savings account. No. Savings accounts are just money to hold your money temporarily to facilitate a savings goal. This could be a child's education, could be a wedding, a honeymoon, a new wardrobe, couches, you name it. So therefore, interest rate is not the highest criteria. For me personally, I say, what are the fees? Because the fees alone might erode whatever interest you are getting right off the bat. So the fees, number one, any extra charges that come from nowhere. So you kind of always have to read the fine print. One, does this savings account have access to online and mobile banking? Two, and then is it convenient and accessible for me to access my money when I need that money? Okay, but also to take note of these interest rates that you sign up for, they change over time. A good example is I have a Zanaco Sure Save. And when I signed up, the minimum balance was 200 kwacha to open it up. This year, they are like, no, the minimum balance is now 300. So they just took 100 kwacha without warning, for no reason at all, just because the T's and C's allowed it. And do you know how much money you need, one, and how long you need to have money in a savings account to get 100 kwacha? You might think, no, they're just getting 100. 100 kwacha is a lot of money to get it on a savings account, not an investment or a fixed deposit, on an actual savings account that gives 3%. 100 kwacha is a lot of money. So them just doing that is very, very within their rights, but you always have to take note of these things. And also another thing is, whichever bank you start with typically might also influence which savings accounts you go with. But that is not to say you can't change. If you are not happy, please close your accounts there, move your money, go with someone else that is going to appreciate you. All right, so I'll take a quick break just to get a feel of the room. So quickly give me a thumbs up if we're following, if things are clear. Just quickly give me a thumbs up so that I know that people are listening. All right, wonderful. All right. Great, 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 great. All right, now, section 3, financial tools and apps. These are the things that are going to help you in the long run. Now, there is a case for using automated tools, and there's a case against using automated tools to manage your finances. And by automated, yeah, I should really check my spellings. It says automated. So when you're starting to manage your finances, I am very team manual. Track your expenses manually, and I mean manual on paper and pen. There is something that happens to your mind, one, when you literally have to write down every single transaction that happened money-wise, in and out. So if you went to Soweto Market and you got on a bus, you have to write that transaction. Got on a bus, 10 kwacha. Because what that does to you in your mind is now you kind of slowly zoom out, and it even kind of plays out like in slow motion. You are able to see exactly where your money is coming in and where it is going. Doing things manually is such a game changer. And if you're going to be in my financial planning WhatsApp group, the course, you are going to literally have to write every single transaction down manually, because there is no way I can teach you tracking your expenses without you writing it manually. Then you understand. And you see why I said earlier that you should have as little as possible transactional accounts, is because if money is moving out of your Airtel, your MTN, your FNB, your StanChart, and your Zanaco account, you have to track all those money places. So different worksheets for all those money places. And literally, this is why people always end up saying that, no, me, I get paid 14,000. I don't know where the money goes and I haven't saved or invested anything. It's because you are sending a 200 kwacha on mobile money here. You are paying for this, you tap. You go in ShopRite, you're tapping. You go in Hungry Lion for lunch that one day, you tap. You go for lunch, for work with your friends. The lady there selling tumbua is saying, no, you can send via mobile money. You send back. It's literally that easy to see your money just go out. But if you have to think yourself to say, wait, I have to remember all these transactions at the end of the day, you slowly start to restrict the origins of where money is moving in and out. So you start manual and then you can move to automated tools. So when it comes to automated tools, this is my favorite. It's not the best, by the way. It is just my favorite. And the reason why it's my favorite is because, one, it's cheap. It's a one-time payment, and I think it's at $5, and you have access to it forever, as long as you have that Gmail account in the Play Store. And it allows you to create unlimited number of budget categories according to your own liking. So the app is called Money Manager, and it's by Real Bytes, and it allows you to track all your expenses. If you go to my Instagram and Facebook, all the screenshots with pie charts are generated within this app. I love this app, and I've been using this since 2018. Is it 2018 when I started? Yes, 2018. So I can literally tell you how much I spent on ice cream in 2018 versus 2019 and so on, or how much I spent on clothing in each different year. It keeps all that information. Money Manager app, my favorite. You can download it or use an equivalent. So with Money Manager app, this one allows you to track day-to-day transactions, month-to-month, year-to-year. But if you want to get very, very fancy, and we shall be using this in the financial planning WhatsApp group, is the wealth dashboard. Now, the wealth dashboard is created by someone I found on Instagram called My Wealth Diary, and I love this worksheet to pieces. It literally shows you your progression, and it fine-tunes everything to your expenses, your income, your cash flow, your investing, your savings, your debt, everything. All the screenshots for my net worth, especially in 2021 and 2022, are all from My Wealth Dashboard. Yes, I love this worksheet. It's, I think, $25 when it's on sale, but follow her account. It's usually $30. And then when she does sales, which she always does, it's at $25, the cheapest that she sells it. And it shows you progression for a period of 5 years minimum. And you can see over time how bad or how good you've been doing with your income, or rather just your wealth in general. So those are the two tools I typically advocate and always tell people to use. And this is not to say that they are the best. They're the ones that I just enjoy. There are a million of tools out there, and budgeting apps and wealth creation apps, but just pick whatever suits for you. Then when you're looking at investing, you can't avoid this B word that everybody seems to not really hate, but I think we are slowly getting to a point where people love budgeting. So budgeting is nice, guys. Budgeting is literally the thing that transformed my finances for me. And the thing that led to budgeting was I had a scholarship, blew all the money Black Friday, didn't even buy a bicycle or a vehicle. Still this day, I don't even have a bicycle or a vehicle, but I had money, lots of it, not to mention, lots of it, ne? But then it got me thinking to say, well, I thought I was a reasonable adult, but why is it that I still feel unfulfilled and I haven't hit any of my savings goal, regardless of having money? And that time it was scholarships, I wasn't working. So I kept researching, and it clicked to say, like, I have no strategy for the money. A budget is basically a roadmap. A budget is you giving your money a job. When you create a budget, essentially you are taking the power away from money and giving it back to yourself so that you get the chance to say, hey, this amount of money, you are meant for chills. You are meant to entertain me every weekend for this month. On the other hand, this amount of money is meant to feed me. So this is when you're allocating money for groceries. When you're budgeting, you're saying this is money allocated for transportation so that I can go back and forth work. When you're budgeting, you're also saying things, no, I like to take a break every once in a while. So this money is going to my vacation savings so that at the end of this quarter or in 6 months' time, I'll be able to take a nice vacation to Zanzibar or wherever it is that you're going, Livingstone, you name it. When you budget, you are saying, this is my plan. And the key with budgets is that they are not meant to be restrictive. I don't even know where this narrative of budgeting came as a restriction. Budgeting is you taking control and telling your money where to go. My rule of thumb is, because I'm a human, is try as much as possible to get to a point where you execute your budget 95% of your time for saving and investing. Let me say this again. Try to get yourself to a point where you execute your budget to 90-95% accurately on two things in your life: saving and investing. If your budget score for saving and investing is 95, whether you use transport money to buy socks, I really don't care, or you use the money meant for groceries to help your friend who didn't tell you that she's got an engagement party, but you now suddenly have to support her, or this church engagement came through. Whatever you use that other money for really is not that important. But the money that you've set to say, invest this and save it for this. Once you do that part of your life correctly, especially with your finances, the rest really doesn't matter, because it means you are taking care of your immediate self first through savings. So maybe a year down the line, 2 years, your savings are there for those things that you need. And then also 7 to 15 years down the line, your investments are starting to take care of you now by you doing those things. But in the day-to-day, honestly speaking, if you had set a budget to say, no, this month I'll only use 1,500, but you ended up spending 2,300, and the other money you ended up removing it from your transport, it really is okay, honestly. But when it comes to saving and investing, do that to the best of your ability as possible, and try not to steal from yourself. And that is when you dip into your savings and say, no, I will pay myself back. I have no secret to what the cure is for the savings regarding that. I'm still figuring it out myself, because I occasionally tell myself, I'll pay back myself, but then I never do. So budgeting. So budgeting basically allows you to find hope with your finances, and basically it will help you face the reality of your spending. Because when you budget, it doesn't just end at no electricity, 300 kwacha, DSTV premium, 1,000 kwacha, Spotify, $3. Writing a list of you spending your money is not a budget. What needs to happen thereafter are 2 extra activities. This is when you have a full circle of you said, now I have budgeted. So if you've been writing a list to say, no, groceries, 2,000, fuel, 4,000, you have been writing a list. That is not a budget. When you budget, you need 3 things to happen. You need to set a plan, which is that list that you have been writing. Then you need to track against that plan for every single transaction that comes. So you have to track your expenses throughout. So that's activity number 2. Then, also, none of these things are in the slides. I'm literally just speaking from the head. So that's activity number 2. You track your expenses against those targets you set at the beginning of the month or that pay period. Then 3, you sit down on a beautiful Saturday, pour yourself a nice cup of tea, wine, ice cream, or whatever it is that will get you excited about looking at your finances for that month, and then do what we call a budget recap. Now, this is where you're going to consolidate all the transactions that came in and out and say, oh, for DSTV, we said it was 1,000, but DSTV increased the price again for the 17th time, and it was 1,400. You write it against the 1,000. No fuel, I said 4,000. But I ended up spending 7,000 because no, we had to travel for that funeral in that place, and then there was a wedding. You consolidate everything. Then you add. Then you go ahead. You even buy highlighters. Remember, we are starting things manually. So you have a green one. Say, oh, you shed everything that was under budget. You're going to shed green, 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 green. Even get a red pen or a red highlighter or marker if you're fancy like me. And everything that was over budget, you put it in red. Ka. It's like, okay. Then you go through an analysis to say, me, I said I would spend 4,000 on fuel. How come it was 7,000? So this 3,000, why did it happen? Then you start listing reasons. No, the funeral, that week, shani, someone asked me to help them out at church. You allocate for those things. Then once you've done that, you then use that information to say, given this information and how things happened in life, I think to be on the safe side, instead of budgeting 4,000 for fuel, let me increase it a little, maybe by 5,500. Let's see. Because I could have avoided that trip for my friend. Next time I'll ask them to put their own fuel. So you just start making realistic adjustments. And remember, when you budget, you're going to budget according to the way life is. You budget according to the way life is, not what you envision in your head. This is what most people do. They try to make a budget and they say, I think I should be spending 2,000 on groceries because I saw Victoria track her expenses and her groceries were 1,700. So me, it should be 2,000. No, if you've got a family where you are 7 of you in the household, you are not going to survive on 1,700 worth of groceries. In which economy? You budget realistically according to what's happening. If that means increasing certain budget categories, you have to, and you must, because what you keep doing is every time you consolidate the budget, you always feel like you're making a mistake. There is something wrong. There's a difference between budgeting to match your life and budgeting because you are in excess. Maybe you're overspending. What you do when you think that your budget category is too high, you reduce it, not by like huge margins. Let's say if you want to hit a budget of groceries 2,500, you're not going to deduct 500. That's unrealistic. You're going to say, let me see if I can reduce it by 50 kwacha. First, you start small. You don't say, let me chuck out a whole 500 kwacha. You say, let me remove a 50 kwacha. Let's see if I can manage on 2,450. If you manage, maybe for 2 months, it's like, let me drop off another 100 kwacha. Maybe you found something, or you planted veggies or something or the other. You try 2,400, 2,400, 2,400. Is it realistic? And you move from there. So with budgeting, the budgeting method I recommend, because it worked for me and it might work for other people as well, is the budget by paycheck by the budget mom. This is the most holistic budget I have ever found on YouTube. And believe you me, I have watched a ton of budgeting videos, so many. And the reason why I love the budget mom is that she always emphasizes budgeting for fun. It's your money after all. Budgeting does not have to be painful. Whenever I look at people and we're discussing budgets, and I'm like, where is the chill money? Where is the social money? Where is your fun money? Do you drink? Yes. I was like, okay, why haven't you allocated it? Do you go out with your friends? Do you socialize? You should allocate money for fun, but obviously with reason, if you are to hit your investing goals. So budgeting, another thing that you have to do. Write your budget, track your expenses, review, and then adjust as you move on. So this is the YouTube channel. So you can just search for the budget mom, and she has real life budgets, especially from the US perspective, but wherever you see dollar, just put kwacha. She is amazing. Literally everything I know about creating budgets is her. She has worksheets that you can download for free that you can immediately start using. Speaking of which, next week is pay week. So this is your time to actually test her methods, especially over the next 2 months, and see if it works for you so that you can actually implement it for yourself in 2024. Now, investing. What can you do now, even though you don't have a stable income or you're living with your parents, is what someone asked me. Now, the simple question to that is, do everything else. That's create budget, because even if you're a student and even if you have got unstable income, you can't tell me no money reaches you whatsoever, because the way most people imply it is that they don't even have a 1 kwacha that passes through them from January to December. And you can't be a human being where you've not touched, okay, not you can't be a human being. You can't say that you've lived through society the whole of 2023, even if you're a student and have not touched the 1 kwacha, either in your mobile money or something. You have money. You have some money. So let's talk about investing. Because investing is what allows you to create wealth. And investing is not for the rich people. It is not for people who earn X amount of money. It is not for people who have a lump sum. Investing is, and wealth creation starts with as little as 200 kwacha in Zambia. And the sooner you start, the better. So what investment options do we have? If you've attended my classes, you probably know most of these, or if you follow me on social media. We have the default 7: stocks, government securities, you have businesses, real estate, unit trust, fixed deposits, and livestock. And livestock, again, it is not online farming, people. Livestock, you have to go and feed pigs, buy feed. Do you know, guys, how expensive feed is and how rare that thing is? People should not lie to you. No, if you buy 2 pigs and then it gives birth to 20 piglets, you can sell each pig later for 4,000 kwacha. Like pigs get sick, they die, there's feed. You have to be in the business to actually know how these things work. All right. Before I carry on, let me get some motivation. Are we following so far? Thumbs up. Anyone who's courageous enough can unmute themselves and ask a question. How are people doing? Am I talking too fast? Are we following? All right. I think we are together.
Can you kindly go back on the previous slide?
Okay. Did you have a question specifically, Kangwa?
Sorry.
Yes.
Yeah, I wanted to ask, you had mentioned something about the apps. How secure are they?
Oh, they are very secure. The tracking one?
Yes.
It's very secure. Once we get to the Q&A, I will join through my phone and then show it to you. They're very secure.
Okay. Thank you.
But while we are here, since he's asked, we can also see what the wealth dashboard looks like. So the wealth dashboard is actually just a Google Sheet. So it's very, very secure. And it looks like this. So since Kango asked, what tab do you want to see? What do you want to highlight? Because it's on Google Sheets, so it's very secure, and you as the owner are the only person who's going to have access to it. So unless you allow someone to have preview to it, basically that's it. So what you're looking at right now is my net worth tracker. So let's look at expenses, because I feel like I've been spending money lately. So this is the expense dashboard portion of that wealth dashboard. And it tells you that to date, I have spent 533. So this is from 2020, by the way. Not this year alone. I wish it was this year alone. And typically where you see spikes here is where it tells you that, oh, this specific month, you were very, very excited and spent money. And it even tells you which category is your highest spending category. So for me, it's electronics. And this makes sense for me because I love tech. I'm in computer science. So the kind of tools I use, I always go for like the most expensive thing. So it should make sense. If hair and clothes was the highest expense category, I would be worried because I don't care about hair or clothing. And it will show you analysis quarterly over time, and it shows you, what happened in quarter 3? Anyway, like, guys, life. And these are because you track. So it will also show you on an annual basis. Lifestyle inflation is happening, people. So this is the wealth dashboard. It's my favorite thing on the earth. I would highly recommend buying it. If you want, I can send another email later with the link to her Etsy, and then you can buy it for yourselves as well. Okay, wonderful. Let's move on. Investing. Investment options summary. So from those 7, after you've organized your financial folder, you've created your digital, your PDFs, the next thing is to open up investment accounts. And as of this week, I am happy to announce, though it wasn't given to me, that government securities now have an online platform which you can use directly to invest. And that removes the hassle of going to the bank, trying to ask people not knowing what to answer, and all that confusion that would typically go on with investing in government securities. Now you just have a 3-step thing: enter an amount, agree to terms and conditions, and then click place bid, and you have bidded. So now let's look at these investment options in a little bit more detail. For those people who know these things, sorry to bore you with the details, but if there are people here who don't know, I would always want to share this information. And this is one portion of the slide that I teach in my 18-year-old me class, because this is information I wish I had known right at the moment I finished high school. So we will start with our first row. I believe these are arranged according to rows. We have the minimum amount to invest. So if we look from unit trust all the way to real estate, the cheapest is unit trust. It's a 200 kwacha. Every time you have a 200 kwacha, you can invest into a unit trust. Now, I am not going to explain each one of these in detail because I have specialized courses and free content all over my social media platform that dives deeper into each one. If it's a class such as stocks and government securities, that's easily 4 hours worth of content just to explain everything you need to know for one thing. So I will not dive deep, but I'll try to answer as many questions as I get. So if you've got a question about something, I'll answer it. Unit trust, 200 kwacha is the minimum. Stocks, you're looking at 500 kwacha every time you invest. Government securities, 1,000 kwacha. Businesses, these are yourself created businesses. It's really subjective, but I just put a random figure of 500. A fixed deposit, this is honestly bank dependent, but I know some banks will allow you to create a fixed deposit with as low as 1,000 kwacha. Livestock, animal dependent. You can start with chickens, ducks, rabbits. Do we count dogs as livestock? I think dogs are not livestock, but cows and the like. Real estate, I just put 5,000, depending whether or not you find cheap land in the bush or God knows where. And then when we look at how do we make money from these specific investment options, we can make money using different ways. And it's important to know the ways in which you're going to make money. So with unit trusts, we're looking at interest. With stocks, we're looking at 2 ways, capital gains and dividends. And right off the bat, I will tell you, capital gains is where the money is. I will show you my stock portfolio if you're interested at the end. I have received 4 times more in capital gains than I have received in dividends right now. Above and beyond that, there is no company that pays monthly dividends. So I'm already answering the usual questions I get. There is no company on the Lusaka Stock Exchange where you are going to receive monthly dividends. Neither is there a company that guarantees a yearly dividend either. Okay, so keep that in mind. No company guarantees monthly, quarterly, or even a yearly dividend. Okay, good. Government securities, you make money 2 ways, interest and coupons. With businesses, it's profit. You buy a jumper and you go sell it for higher. The difference is what you are using to get your money. Then with fixed deposit, it's going to be interest. With livestock, basically by the animals reproducing. So you have to keep the animals fed so that they reproduce. With land, it's land appreciation as well as rent. Now, another thing to take into consideration is how frequent can you invest in these different investing options. So with unit trusts, every single day, you have a 200 kwacha. You can buy a unit trust, or a unit is what it's actually called. If today, like today is Friday, you had a 200 kwacha, you would have sent the money to the unit trust, they would have bought you units. On Monday, you've got 200 kwacha again, you buy units. Same thing with stocks. You can buy stocks literally every single day, as long as you do it in multiples of 500. Again, another thing I should ask, the app. Honestly speaking, the apps are meant to view your stock portfolio and price movement. The apps is not where you go to buy shares or stocks. If you want to buy shares, please use a broker, a physical broker. And when we say a physical broker, write them an email and issue out your instruction. You don't need to go there physically. I live in Kabwe, and I have never once gone to Stockbroker Zambia Limited to issue an instruction to say buy shares. All my instructions are done via email, all of them. But I have visited them before, but not to issue an instruction. I just went to say hi. Because my brokers are blessed people, you people, my brokers. I use Stockbrokers Zambia Limited. People have horror stories with them. People love them, people hate them. But all the brokers do the exact same thing. And they charge the exact same commission. So it really doesn't matter which one you go with. Just find someone that makes you an investor. And by that, what I mean is when you issue an instruction, they should act on it. That's the broker for you. Whether it's Longhorn, Hobbiton, Pangay, regardless of who it is, as long as you issue them an instruction to say buy so and so shares and they do it, that's whom you should go with. With government securities, you can invest either 2 times in a month for treasury bills and monthly for government bonds, meaning it's 12 times a year. So your chances there are very, very slim. So you kind of need to get yourself together. Then the rest are mostly daily. Then for compounding frequency, remember, besides time being the greatest asset, the way you make money is how frequently things are able to compound. So the more frequent things are able to compound, the quicker it is. So everything here compounds at a different time. And the way you kind of know when these things compound is when you understand the investment option. For example, unit trusts can compound daily or monthly because you are always investing on a daily basis and adding on top of what was already there. So the issue with compounding is you need to add on top of what was already there and use the interest gained to add on top. So another thing. One thing you also need to take into consideration is the investment duration. With unit trusts, they say you should lock up your money for at least 6 months before you start making withdrawals. With stocks, you can even withdraw the following day. You buy stocks today, okay, after the 3 working days have elapsed, you can now sell your shares again. For government securities, actually, I meant to write 3 months, not 1 month. You are going to have to wait that entire duration or sell your stuff on the secondary market. Businesses, question markets, as and when you manage to succeed with your business and so on and so forth. So this is a very, very quick snippet of everything that you kind of need to know at a glance, according to these specific characteristics about these investing options. Now, what my advice is for people who say they don't have money, I would suggest the 2 following investment options. You go with unit trusts and stocks. And then if your wallet can allow, you at least participate in 1 government security in that given year. Because I am sure you can cough up a 200 kwacha at least once every 6 months. If you are really, really a student, like you are really, really a student that you don't even plait your hair, kind of a student, you can come up with a 200 kwacha every 6 months and invest something. Or even every 6 months, you can buy shares once and find a 500 kwacha, meaning you'd have invested 1,000 kwacha for that entire period of year, and that is substantial than not investing at all and waiting for this dream income. No, when I find a job at this and this corporate company and start earning X and X, Y, man. No, guys. If I had known, and I always tell this to people that if I had known that I was not going to like clothing the way I thought I did back then when I was 18, 19, or 20, I would have not spent money buying shabadoos, hipsters, spaghetti tops, and all those fancy loop earrings. I would have been buying shares in Zambia Sugar, butter, or something or the other. I wouldn't even need to go for work, honestly speaking, if I'd been doing those things. So you can invest, even if it's once a year. Even if it's really bad, like you just do one thing, just to make yourself feel good, you really can manage it. I honestly believe you can do something. You can do side hustles. There's so much you can do in terms of your earning capabilities. You kind of have to get creative. The days where you always have to wait for a job are kind of gone. At this point, you kind of need to keep like push yourself up and do something. 200 kwacha, 500. Me, I'm happy if someone invests 1,000 the whole year than someone keeps saying, I will invest, I will invest, I will invest. Someone invests 1,000 that whole year than someone who earns 10,000 and doesn't invest anything. Honestly, the person with a 1,000 investment is better than the person who earns a steady income. So here are my investment accounts, the ones I typically use. So you do with this information what you want. I'm not saying you should go and open these exact things. You are going to lose money. When me, I talk to my uncles in Wapula. I've got very strong uncles in Wapula who give me financial advice. So for my unit trusts, I use Life. Another good recommendation is ABC with Atlas Mara. And specifically, the unit, the trust I purchase is the Impile High Yield Debt Fund. And basically, this is just a fancy way of saying I am investing in government securities unit trust. And this is why you kind of need to understand these investment options first in order to understand unit trusts, because unit trusts are essentially collections of investments. So you need to understand each option inside and out for you to invest. So Impile Life has got, I think, about 6 or 7 or different kinds of products. So they've got the Impile Money Market Fund, they've got local equity, the foreign equity, they have the balanced fund. So all those terms mean something. So you kind of need to know what each investment option is talking about, especially with unit trusts. Then with stocks, my intermediary is Stockbrokers Zambia Limited. There are 6 or 7 licensed brokers in the country. You can use any one of them. And the product that I invest in with stocks is quote unquote all the stocks. I don't have all of them. I currently only have, is it 11 companies? And the thing is, the Zambian stock market is so small. You can list all companies there. When you're looking at stock markets such as the New York market or the Australian, you are looking at hundreds of thousands of companies. So the Zambian one is quite small, but that should not detach you to say, no, I want to invest in New York. Guys, there is money in Zambia, please. Oh my God, there is money in Zambia. I made 7,000 kwacha yesterday for doing nothing. Was it 7,000? I made some amount of money, but 7,000, I think, literally because a share went up. Specifically, Zambia Sugar. If you received my email, I sent a link to sign up for the daily news reports that Stockbrokers Zambia send out. And for stockbrokers, they don't even care if you are their client or not. They'll send you that information every single time. So please sign up. You don't need to be their client in order to receive those reports. Then for government securities, I use Zanaco as an intermediary. They are very, very good. They are big, strong, reliable. Just like their name states, no one can say anything bad about Zanaco. I am willing to fight as a loyal customer and also an investor in the company. Another good bank to use for government securities are ABSA and Atlas Mara. FNB, I just ditch them, but to each their own. Businesses, myself, and typically it's through these classes that I have that are paid. With fixed deposits, I keep it simple. I just do them with Zanaco. Livestock, I used to have rabbits, but they're not there. And real estate, it's kind of there, but I'm not really doing anything with it. So these are my investment accounts. So before I forget, let me quickly show you my stock portfolio. And again, my stock portfolio is within my dashboard because everything is there. So this is my share portfolio, and these are the companies I have, and these are the current number of shares I have in each company. And these are the current share prices, which I update every now and then and whatnot. But the interesting part is typically always at the bottom. So this value here, sometimes I even wonder when I had this money. the way I look like this. So I have invested a total of just about 400,000 into the stock market. This is the money I have given Lucy, or the the companies on Lucy. But my current stock portfolio is valued at 861,000 kwacha, meaning the growth is 460 kwacha. And this is from June 2021 to date. Now, if you ask me, when did I have 400,000? Whenever I see this amount, I'm like, this doesn't add up, but it really does add up, because investing for me, especially into the stock market, was an intentional thing, and it was a monthly thing. Secondly, I have a very high, I should stop saying have. I had a high income, which allowed me to do so. And above that, my savings and investing rates was also very, very high. My aim is always try to save and invest 60% of my pay and then leave off 40. That's my goal. 65 actually is the perfect, and then 35. So this is the portfolio in terms of capital gains without dividends, This value here, this 46%, Kaya, I don't think that's accurate, but just know, if I were to sell all my shares right now, I would get 861. When we come to dividends, on the other hand, is a catch grabber for most people, but really that's not where the money is. And this is why I'm telling people to say, a company can decide to declare dividends, or can decide not to declare a dividend even when they've made profit. And there is no company that gives out dividends monthly. Like I was saying, you see these gaps here, there was no dividend being declared, nothing. There is no company, even when you look at this is my schedule, you can't tell. Look, Puma was the first company to give me a dividend in August 2021, and I had just started investing. So that kind of gave me a boost to say that, oh, this stuff really works. Ne? Puma was quiet from August 2021, till June 2023. Nothing, quiet. So which, I don't even know where we get this misconception to say that there are companies that give dividends monthly. Maybe in other countries. In Zambia, nope. So you see all these gaps. Which company is this? Safico. Yes, Safico might as well have never given me anything. What? And then like this culprit, African Explosive. African Explosive, the time I was trying to buy in, was one of the highest paid companies on the stock market. They were giving dividends at 4 kwacha per share. And this is also to answer another question that people always ask. Which company gives the biggest? There is no set number one winner that says this company, or except ShopRite, I think. This company is the company that always gives dividends the highest. No, in 2022, it was African Explosives. Right now, it's Airtel. In 2021, it was Chilanga. Chilanga was giving dividends left, right, and center. It was like Christmas every 3 months. I was like, what's going on? And that's where I even made the loss because of dividends. So there is no such thing as the highest company. They always fluctuate. What's going on in the market, the economy, within the company itself, goods and services. When you invest in the stock market, you're not just investing in one commodity. You are learning about so many things that can affect money decisions at one go. Coronavirus, the cost of wood might affect CEC for whatever reason or the other. So if we go to the actual value itself here, total dividends to date is 123,000. If I compare this to the 400,000 that I have gained, obviously, in my case, capital dividends win. And typically that's the case, but not for everyone's portfolio, because everyone buys shares at different times, different prices. But here is a visual representation to say capital gains are where it's at. Okay. Now, when we look at the investment options themselves, how can you actually apply them in our day-to-day life? With real estate, you can make money through land speculation, and land speculation is you simply buy a piece of land, wait for it to gain value. Then we have property flipping. With government bonds, you can use that for your retirement planning and your passion projects. You can use a combination of unit trust and government bonds for your child's education. For unit trust, I call them investment options that went to both private and international schools abroad. You can use that for weddings and honeymoons. You can use stocks as a way to give your children inheritance if you don't want to do the typical Zambian land and a house or your vacation. For me, weirdly, my entire stock portfolio is meant for vacations, by the way. My entire stock portfolio is literally meant to facilitate Victoria Chama to travel the world when she wants, to stay in a place, not at 2 weeks, not at 5 days. I'm going to Dubai. I want to go and stay there for 3 months. I want to go in Tokyo and have enough money to stay in Tokyo for 3 months. That's the kind of vacation I envision for myself. You can use treasury bills for your personal projects and businesses. Oops. And then livestock as well for agriculture products, so through plants and animals. All right. One last thing I need to hit before we conclude today's class is debt. In as much as we've discussed organizing, budgeting, planning, tools, investing, savings, and whatnot, there's one thing I have not mentioned, which is debt, because it's also part of your financial system. Now, debt is a counter to investments. The more debt you have, the harder it is for you to build wealth. And in the same way that wealth can compound, even your debt can compound. So another thing that we need to ensure is, even as we organize the fun part of our finances, we should also be able to look at the not so pretty part about managing our finances. And through whatever means that we got there, that is, we acquired debt, one thing I always tell people whom I'm helping is, first things first, forgive yourself. That's step number one. It happens to everyone, or the best of us, as it were. You accept it and forgive yourself. And then once you are ready, you are able to look at it. Because there are actually people who don't even know how much they owe people. People just say, no, I'm in debt. And if you ask them, no, how much? It's like, no, this one, I owe them this much. But they don't really know a block figure. So you need to forgive yourself, look at your debt, and list them. Again, the budget mom really loves writing. And I also kind of have adopted that philosophy. Write down everything in terms of debt. Whom you owe, how much is it, and whatnot. Oops. Let me just mute. Because once you see that amount on paper, then you are able to start making the necessary adjustments within your budgets and your financial plans. So the things, or the list of things I want people to know who are in debt. These are the things I want you to go sit down later on and look at. One, the name of the loan or the debt. Linda, would you kindly assist me with muting yourself? I can't mute you right now. Let me see. Where's my mute on? Nope, we do not allow participants. Okay, there we go. Sorted. The name of the loan. Almost all loans have got names. The next thing is, who's the creditor? Who do you owe money? Do you owe a bank money? Do you owe bank loans board, this credit insurance place, whatever it is, name that creditor. Principal. How much did you initially borrow? And what is the current balance from the time that you borrowed? List that amount down for all of them. I don't know if I have this in a Word format. I'll have to check. The interest rate. Ooh, these 2 points, interest rate and the minimum payment amount. For whatever reason, we don't typically know what these 2 values are. Always, if you don't know who the creditor is or the name of the loan, at least know the interest rate and the minimum amount that you need to pay back on a monthly basis. Because it is from here that you're able to make a decision either to add more so that you reduce your period to pay that loan back, or you reduce the amount of interest you are paying back. Then you should also be aware of repayment methods. How do they accept their payment? Do they deduct straight from the source through your employer? Can you do an additional amount? Because there are some creditors that are very, very silly to say, no, you can only make 1 payment per month. Also know when that payment is due. What day of the month does this amount come out? When did you start that loan, and how many times do you need to pay them back? There are some creditors that say, no, we'll be deducting 2 times a month. And then they'll give you to small amounts thinking for you at no, I'll be able to manage. And also, what are the laws around you borrowing the debt in terms of when you forfeit, when you don't have money? All these things you should be able to know if you are currently in debt. All right. So before I introduce the 2024 Investor Challenge, I'd like to thank everyone for sticking around and paying attention. The educational part of the class is now done. So I'm now introducing the challenge that I'm launching for next year. So if there are people who need to go, you can leave, but this is now time for your questions and answers. So I'll quickly go through the chat, and then I'll also go through the Q&A portion as well. But if anyone wants to speak, you can simply raise up your hand, and then I can allow you to speak, because I think I've disabled the mics. Okay. Okay. Someone asked in the chat to say, how about if you didn't sign up, how can it be accessed or shared? I think you're referring to the finances folder. Please send me an email please send me your email on WhatsApp, and then I'll be able to add you to the email list. And then I'll send a fresh one again, maybe tomorrow, with all these resources that I have made. Okay, Vincent said they've opened the website but can't find the zip folder. So let me actually share my screen so that I show you where the zip folder is on my website. So when you go to my website and you get to the home page, and my website URL is basically my name, victoriachama.com. When you scroll down, you're going to see this blog post called Free Financial Literacy Investing Workshop, which I did in March. So this is most of the material that you are using here. And when you scroll down, gives a preamble, blah, 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 the outline that we've just discussed, some actionable steps that I have given. And then when you go down, you're going to see this folder. So when you click it, it's going to invoke a download. So you should be able to download it. Or when you click this grayed out thing here, you should be able to download it. And then I have also put up the application form for Stockbrokers Zambia Limited and your CSD account for Bank of Zambia. But please use the system for Bank of Zambia. So I can also share the link to the system as well, because it's now working. Yes, so okay. Wait now, let me see. Okay. Questions. So I think this another question on the app regarding Money Manager. So if you're an Apple user, it is completely free on Apple, and someone has been using it and hasn't paid anything, which is nice. So there's a free version and a paid version. On Android, they make you pay for it, but even on Android, you can use it without paying, except there are so many ads. So that's the only issue. So I need to share the link for government security. So I'm taking notes of everything I need to share with people. So I know I need to share the Etsy store for the wealth dashboard and also the government securities online platform. All right, the minimum amount for bonds and treasury bills is 1,000 and 1,000 kwacha. And the reason why we say 1,000 is because that's the face value. The money that actually gets deducted from your account is about 850 something, really depending on which bond that you are applying for. Oh, how are you able to invest in Zambia when you are a student studying out of Zambia? So with every investment option, there are requirements that you have to meet. For example, if you want to buy stocks, you need to have a Zambian bank account and an NRC and a tip-in certificate. So Lumbanya, if you have an NRC, a tip-in certificate, and a Zambian bank account, you can invest in stocks. For government securities, they want an NRC and an application form and a Zambian bank account in kwacha. So if you've got the Zambian bank account in kwacha and the certified NRC, you can participate in government bonds. And it's even better now because you can even do it online. Oh, let me show you. Let me show you. I really love this this new system that they have created for government securities. It is a life changer. So this is the login page. So for those people who don't have CSD accounts, I'll get to the poll. You are simply going to click here, create account. It is seamless, works like a charm. You just need to have your NRC, know your bank details, and you're good to go. So when you log in, there's a two-factor authentication. Yeah, security. Yeah, so now I have to wait for a code, but really all you need is a Zambian bank account. Let me get to the chat and answer a question while I wait for the authentication to come through. How do I access my Luce? I haven't tried to open up the app, but it doesn't open, but I have been buying stocks through my broker. How do I, oh, so you just want the app. So for the app, there are two versions of the app. So there's the first one they launched back in 2021 and the current version for 2023. However, they have discontinued both of them, especially the 2023 version. It's even off the Play Store whatsoever. But if you have downloaded it already and it opens, that's a good thing. Because all you need to do is write an email to bank, to Luce and ask them to help you create an account. If you don't have it, forget about it. But if you already have it installed, you should be able to, sorry, let me just enter the PIN has come through. So I'll stop sharing so that I can enter my PIN. So yes, all you need to do is send an email to Luce to help you create an account on the back end. That's what people typically do. Oh, what is the probability of a treasury bill going through? The probability is 50-50. So the 50-50 being that depending on what actually happens during the auction, it might go through or not go through. But at the same time, there's a lot to explain there. It's not that they don't go through and they go through. There are kind of a little bit of nuances that happen during the auction. For instance, if people bid too much of the yield and you fall within that yield, you might not be awarded. But most often than not, you can get it and you might not get it. And the good thing with treasury bills is if you fail to make the cut in one auction, it happens every 2 weeks. So you'll be able to buy another one. Try to attempt to buy another one in 2 weeks as well. So Kangwa is asking, explain a little bit more on coupons under bonds. Definitely. Let me do so by sharing my screen. I'm just waiting for this two-factor authentication, which has not yet arrived. Let me refresh this and try again. Now today it should start acting up when I even have an audience, Sure Bank of Zambia. Today it don't want to log me in. So now, bond coupons. So bond coupons are one of the ways in which you make money from government bonds specifically, and they are paid every 6 months to you. So the way in which I'm going to explain this is by using Chanosia's worksheet. I hope you're able to see my screen now. So let's say we have that 1,000 kwacha minimum. So this is Chanosia's worksheet. It's called the Investor's Companion Guide. So what you're looking at specifically is only the bond section. I highly, 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 highly recommend this product. It's mwah, love this to death. So when you say you want to invest a 1,000 kwacha here as your principal, when I said that actually what will actually get deducted is not 1,000 kwacha, but what we tell people is simply just tell people 1,000. It's the easiest thing. So what this means, on a 1,000 kwacha investment, you are going to be getting a 35 or 38 kwacha coupon every 6 months. And then your total gain from investing in that specific period of 2-year bond is going to be 299. Now for coupons, every period, also known as a tenor, has got a different coupon rate. These are fixed. These are standard. They don't change. Come rain, come sunshine. It snows. The coupon rates have never changed ever since they were created. What changes with bonds are what is known as the bid price or the bond price. And Kangwa, to answer your question, this is what kind of affects whether or not your treasury bill or bond is accepted, because it also translates to a yield. So again, on coupons, if you invest a 1,000, let's say in a 7-year bond, your coupon payments become 102 kwacha every 6 months for 7 years, meaning your total gain is going to be 2,200 on top of your original 1,100 and so on. So please, for coupons, there's a lot of mathematics behind it, but Chanosia did us all a great favor by providing this worksheet. Please buy this worksheet. It is one of the important tools and arsenals. In fact, for the next class, I think I should put it under tools and resources that you should get for yourself. So this one, I think, is currently at 700. This is definitely a recommendation to buy. Okay. Or could I share the email address for Luce? Certainly. My OTP has just come through, so let me enter it, and then I'll share it in the chat as well. So I think it is it operations at Luce, something, but I've even swatilaed them. 2397 Shan. Login. Did I mistype it? I will logging in today does not want to work out. Yeah, I think I requested for too many, so I don't know which OTP it's asking for. So I'll give it some time and then try to log back in later. But this is the line. Now the email to send to Lucy. Someone has asked. Hold on. And I will do that just now. Okay. But while I am browsing around my PC, let me allow people to unmute themselves just in case there's someone who wants to verbally ask a question, so that I don't keep quiet for too long. All right, I think I've allowed unmuting. Is there anyone that wants to verbally ask a question while I'm looking around for this email?
Hi.
Yes, hi.
Hi, this is Muzinge. Very, very educative session, I must say. I just wanted to find out, are you going to be able to share the recording for some of us who joined in a bit late? Maybe keep it open for 2-3 days. I don't know.
Okay, definitely. I can definitely share the email. Okay, so I have finally found this email. So the email address is operations, and I'm just copying and pasting. operations@luce.co.za. So I'm posting this in the chat. You should be able to see it now. Okay. Anyone else who wants to verbally ask a question? So the link to the spreadsheet. Yes, the spreadsheet is for sale. Whether it's the Google sheet or the companion sheet. Those are not my products, so I can't claim money on them and I can't share them. So you have to contact the original creators and buy it from them. One is Chanosia, the other one is on Etsy, and I will share those things. Yes, I will share today's meeting. If you are on that email list, you are going to get a link to the Google Drive. Yes, so I think I am done with all the questions in the chat. Now let me go to the Q&A. So I'll start with the one on stocks. For stocks, is it a monthly depositing? Nope. Stocks you can buy every single day of the week except holidays and weekends. The key though is it should be 500 kwacha every single time you want to buy shares. So if you want to buy shares in StanChart, it's 500 kwacha minimum. Tomorrow you have more money, 500 kwacha, but not to say that you should only buy in 500s. Actually, again, me, I'm a practical person. I always show people. So what you're seeing here is my entire email thread between me and my broker for all the shares I've done, 56 plus emails. So let's see if I do a random one. So this was September, and I always break them down. So this one was a purchase of 22,000. They sent proof of payment. This again was 2,000. Proof of payment again. This one was 12,000 proof of payment. So you can literally buy them every single time you have money. For me, my strategy though is once a month because it's easier to manage. Not that you can only buy once a month. It's just so much easier for me to manage. Then another question is notes. Am I going to share my notes? Unfortunately not. The notes are my intellectual property, so to speak. So I don't I don't share the notes themselves. But I hope by going through the video, you'll be able to take your own notes, so to speak. How can you make losses with a unit trust? Oh, yes, you can definitely make losses with unit trusts. So I'll give an example of the local equity fund by most unit trusts. Local equity fund is just a fancy way of saying a unit trust that follows the stock market. So I think it's better if I visually write this down. So local equity fund. Now, to understand unit trusts, you have to understand the underlying investment option that they are matching or trying to beat. Because what a unit trust will tell you is, what you're essentially doing with a unit trust is you're giving money to a fund manager because you are outsourcing the investing decisions to someone else who's more knowledgeable, quote unquote, to make financial decisions on your behalf so that your money can grow. So they will do this using just the generic normal options. So when you invest in something like a local equity fund, what you're investing in essentially is the stock market. Now, because it's the stock market, you kind of need to know what the good things are about investing in the stock market, as well as what the bad things are. Above and beyond that, because it is a local equity fund, it means they have shares that they have bought. Meaning you should be able to go and ask the fund manager and say, give me a financial portfolio of which stocks you're currently investing in. So let's say ABC Trust has got 50% in Zanaco, 20% in this, and this. What that means is you as a person needs to go back and read about those companies and understand what is kind of going on a high level. Because if the share price of Zanaco drops and, oh, I think I can do this. Hold on in English. I think I can do this. Technology, pie charts like this. Okay. We even use this same example here. So let's assume this is ABC Trust Local Equity Fund, and this blue portion is Zanaco. When the share price of Zanaco goes up, the entire fund benefits from that, and that means you make money. When the share price goes down for Zanaco, it will affect the portfolio, therefore, you are going to lose money. Now, this is only local equity. So when I say when you're doing unit trusts, you kind of need to understand the underlying, what I'll say, underlying technologies. I don't know how else to explain this. Me, I'm an IT person. The underlying factors, the underlying characteristics, the underlying principles of that investment option in order to understand how you can gain and lose money. The same way you gain and lose money on an individual investment is the same way you can lose and gain money on the unit trust, number one. Two, you can lose money if there are high fees. Your fees with unit trust, the mathematics behind fees is like magic, but it's mathematics. The higher the fees are, the more you're going to not lose money, but the more money you're going to make for the fund, not yourself. But yes, you're essentially losing money. So yes, you can definitely lose money. Someone asked on the same vein, would you recommend unit trust as a good investment option for someone already investing in stocks and bonds? Yes, I invest in stocks and bonds and I have a unit trust myself. Yes, because depending on which financial goal you're trying to achieve, unit trusts work extremely well. What you have to understand again, those underlying characteristics, the advantages, disadvantages, the good, the bad. That's what you kind of need to know. Can you use Atlas Smart ABC Asset Manager to buy a stock? Yes, you can, but through a unit, not like I want to go buy in Puma. I don't think ABC, no, ABC is not a licensed broker. So let's go to Lucy so that we know who these people are. Yeah, this is when the password is coming again. Yeah. So you see, brokerage and investor services, brokerage firms. When you click here, you'll be able to see those that are licensed to buy shares on your behalf. Etus, Equity Capital, Finance Securities, Hobbiton, Longhorn, Madson, Pengay, Stockbrokers. Yeah, that's it. So ABC can't buy a single share, but they will buy a unit for you. Okay. No. Okay, I think I already answered the question in the recording. Chat is done. So yes, another question from, since you said we have one transactional account, how do we control not spending money meant for other things? Yeah, no. If I knew the answer for this one, okay. So what I found for me works is a kind of restriction and friction between me and my savings goals. Remember, savings are meant for planned expenses that you are going to spend for in the near future, whether it is 6 months down the line or a year or 2 years. If there's a little bit of friction, listen to English, friction it's easier. And by friction, it means things like filling in a form, going to the bank, la 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 la. So what I typically do is for my savings account, I would probably do something like, from, let's say if you are with FNB, a 7-day notice account, so that I really want to wait those 7 days, or it just kind of hinders me. So a little bit of friction is going to help, just a little bit. But actually what I do is most of my savings for things that I especially very far ahead is I just take them to my unit trust. So I use my unit trust as savings accounts, because for unit trust, I have to fill in a form. That form has to go to the fund manager. The fund manager has to take it to Shanshan. Then they'll tell me 5 business days. I'm like, do I really want that thing that I'm buying? So for me, little bit of friction goes a long way for me. It really does help. Okay. And I think I've answered losses. Okay. Do you have classes that deals with people who are new to this whole financial thing and covers everything, savings, investing, expenditure, etc.? Yes, I do have a class, or actually now an investor challenge. So basically that's what this challenge is going to be. So just stick around while I give the details for that. Do I offer private lessons for a few days or a week to cover everything online or in person? Now, so this challenge is going to at least tackle 4 main areas. It's going to tackle tracking your expenses, looking at 2 key indicators that I think are important for people to know: your savings rate and your net worth, and also investing in knowledge and budgeting. So 5 things. So the WhatsApp group and the investor challenge is exactly that. That's one way. But if you want a detailed one where I am saying we are tracking manually, that would be the financial planning course, and that's a different thing. So someone is asking, if I'm not mistaken, I heard you say that the Luce app is no longer on the Play Store. How are stock investors going to be tracking their investments when they have changed their gadgets? Yeah, that one. The easiest way is you ask your broker to give you detailed statements, either monthly, but I understand that the apps were good. So if you don't have your gadgets, the great thing is the Play Store allows you to keep and remember which apps you had installed. So if they are on your account and you didn't delete them from your Play Store, you should be able to retrieve and install it on a new phone, even as you go on. Okay. Yeah, Shadrick, yes, you can unmute yourself. I think you should be able to. Please go ahead.
Good evening, Madam Victoria.
Yes, yes, please. And it's, yes, Victoria, yes.
My question is on that spreadsheet.
Mm-hmm.
Are you able to go back to the spreadsheet?
The one with government bonds?
Yes.
This one? Yes, yes, yes. What question?
Yeah, yes, that's the one. I've noticed we have, so if you go to the 2-year bond, there's that first bottom for years.
Yes.
So this is the 2-year bond, and then we have that column for years. What does those years mean?
I see. And actually,
Yes.
now that I mentioned, now that you've asked, I'm also wondering why these amounts are not switching. Did I change some values yesterday? Let me see if I can use this other one and see if the values will change. So let's say I have a 2,000. Okay, yes. If I have a 2,000 and I invest in bonds, and then specifically the 2-year one like you've asked, these years are basically an indication to illustrate how much money you are going to gain if you do the following things. If you invest your 2,000 kwacha in a government bond for 2 years, you'll be receiving 77 kwacha every 6 months. But if you hold that 77 kwacha, all the 77 kwachas that come for the first 2 years, you hold all of them, you're going to gain a 598 kwacha. And when you get your original investment money back, you now have 2,300. So this will be in the third year because it would have matured. And if you put this money back again into a bond, this time your coupon payments increases from 77 to 115 kwacha, provided the bid price is the same and all things are held equal. You wait another 2-year period, you have your 1,000 gain, and you put it back again in the 5th year. So what Chanosia does with this worksheet is she tries to show you to say, when you reinvest your earnings, your interest, your coupons, your discount interest, this same 2,000 kwacha over a 20-year period can get to 25,000 kwacha, just doing it once. Okay?
Oh, okay, yeah, I see.
Yes.
Understand.
So
Thank you.
So the idea here is she's encouraging compounding and reinvesting, because remember, when you receive a dividend, that's not your money to go and spend. When you receive a coupon, that is not your money to go out and spend. What you're trying to do is keep increasing that money ball. You know how those Beatles on National Graphic are always pushing that cadet ball. You want that ball to keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And you never see the beetle when it becomes too big, he removes a chunk of it and throws it away. He keeps rolling the same ball until it becomes bigger and bigger and bigger. And that's what you want to do with investing. Don't eat your dividends. Don't take yourself out to Hungry Lion or wherever it is you eat out. Don't buy clothes. You keep reinvesting them back. But someone will ask, Victoria, where am I going to invest 77 kwacha? Very good question. Very, very good question. You have just learned the minimum amount to invest in any investing product that's the cheapest on the market is a unit trust. I am sure you can come up with a 123 kwacha to top up so that it becomes a 200 kwacha, and you take this to the unit trust. So that while this money is in the unit trust making money and you're depositing your 72 kwachas, by the time it's the second year, you can withdraw that from the unit and then put it back as a whole. Yes, Kango.
Yes, Victoria.
Yes.
It's a very interesting talk. I want to steal some intellectual property knowledge from you.
Yes.
So I think we've been looking at on the same spreadsheet where you are. I just want to see how much I think is it stationary? Like I think what he has done, is it looking at compounding aspect, or if you say 2 years, because I've seen on 2 years there's nothing really.
Yes.
So
He's
just done the compounding, not necessarily saying that you get, if I put in for 2 years, what do I get? He hasn't done that, I guess.
No, so this worksheet assumes the following.
Yeah.
Because it is a bond, and with bonds we have T's and C's. When you sign off a bond, there is no such thing as, no, I now have a 500 kwacha, I can top up. What you agreed with is what goes.
Okay. So if I can pull you back, how much would, if you put in a principle of, let's say, 1 million?
Oh.
Yeah, because the examples you put in a
million.
Yes, over a 5-year period.
Okay, over a 5 years. Sir, do you have 1 million? I'm asking.
No, it's just you need to ask these things. You need to think big, I guess.
Okay, over a 5-year period, you are getting 72,000 kwacha
every 6 months. So now the question I have, do they tax this?
Oh, now I think for people, so the coupon payments are taxed, your discount interest is not taxed. And the money with government bonds is the discount interest.
So what is presented here, is it the taxed?
Yes, this is net. So she's clearly said net. So everything after all deductions, withholding tax and the handling fee have been dealt with.
Okay. No, that's what, thanks a lot.
So I'll be in contact. You seem to have money. I need money. But let's conclude.
No problem.
let's conclude the class and then I illustrate exactly what this investors challenge is for 2024. So for the investors challenge, the one that I am starting next month is basically a group of people who are interested to sign up, who I will guide through their investing. So when you join this group, you have to be really, really intentional because it is your financial future at risk. So it will be a 6-month duration where we are going to be doing a lot of tracking. There will be a lot of rewiring of people's brains, and I will be having monthly classes on different topics, depending on what it is that the group feels that we need to learn, especially in the first quarter of the year. The first quarter of the year is very heavily stock oriented because that's when we have the AGMs. And I'm a big advocate for that. Any person who's doing investing in stocks joins at least 2 AGMs, because it is through attending these AGMs that you are able to understand these companies that you're investing in, where you hear the people, CFO and CS and the CEOs tell you to say, we've made a profit, but we're not giving you a chunk of it. This year was actually very interesting because there was a shareholder who was banking on the company giving the money because he needed fertilizer for his father's farm. Now, the company decided, no, we are not sharing the profits. So what does this man now do? He has an entire farm that he's managing, and he has millions of shares in it. So these are eye-opening things that I want people to be actively taking part of. Usually, yes, I'll post, no, Chilanga is having their AGM, those that can join. But if you're part of this group, you have to at least join too. So for the WhatsApp group itself, it will be 300 kwacha for the whole 6 months. It's a one-time payment. Alternatively, you can say it's 50 kwacha per month, but you have to pay for the whole period in advance. We are starting in November, which is 10 days from now. I know I'm calling it the 2024 challenge, but one thing I know with investments, whatever, the longer you delay, especially with what's currently happening, won't be the exact same options available by the time we get to January. Just this week, 2 share prices have gone up. And if people were interested in investing and all that they needed was momentum or push from people, they would have lost out on that opportunity. So briefly, these are the things that we are going to be looking at. Basically, the same things that we've discussed in this class. We are going to start with your financial organization. So everyone gets the exact same financial folder, and you are all going to fill those things in. Those folders need to have PDFs, PNGs, and JPEG files in there. Then we're going to move on to tracking your expenses, and we're all going to use the same app. Everyone is going to use their own versions of what their expense categories are, and we are going to be consolidating these budgets that you'll be creating at the end of the month. We will not be doing this to the T because this is not financial planning. What I want you to see is money moving in and money moving out. But the most important part will be the last 3 parts, where all your investment accounts are opened. I will give you the options, guide you on how to open each one of them, and you at the end of the day need to decide. The good thing with government securities, it's one account. So everyone will just use that one account. There is no option. The only differences that will be there will be who is your underlying middleman or intermediary or bank. Everyone will have to start tracking their net worth. You do not need to share your net worth with the group, but at least you need to be actively participating to share your net worth, because what I need to see is your commitment as well, to see that from the beginning of month 1 to the end of month 6, your net worth should have grown according to your capabilities. If your capability is a 2,000 kwacha growth, then that is your growth over a 6 period of time. If your net worth growth is 14,000, it is yours. There is no limit to say that only people who should have a net worth of 10,000 change or greater should join. If yours is just 1,000, it is that. What I want to see is movement, and obviously movement in the positive direction. And it might not even be net worth going up. it might actually be your debt reducing. So it actually is moving. Then the second important number I want us to be tracking within the group is your savings rate. Your savings rate is directly correlated to how quickly you retire and gain financial independence. Then we are always going to be talking about investment options, in concepts and topics, or any financial topic really. And the tools that I can share, I'll be sharing. Things like trackers that you can color in, those ones I'll be able to share. And then we're always going to have unique challenges, and most of them are wraparounds from the Budget Mom Savings Challenge. I'll just wrap around them and make them investing challenges. Now, for the savings rate, this is what I want to share. Where is my savings rate? For the savings rate, your savings rate. So your savings rate is basically a percentage of how much money you save and invest every time, and it's directly connected to how quickly you gain financial independence. So if you look at my worksheet in this one, my target is to get to what number is this? 65 post-tax savings goal every single month. However, the way in which you can visually see this is the following. So for those that are in the group, you are getting kind of like a preview to what my current net worth is. I haven't updated this in a very, very long time. So this worksheet shows these two values very well together. Your savings rate and you reaching financial independence very clearly, very soon. So let me zoom in so that you can see that I have zoomed. So you see this, what do we call it, bar graph that has been created. Monthly expenses versus safe withdrawal rate. So what this simply shows is this blue line shows your target. This is where you want to reach to have constant income, to have financial independence. And these gray ones are your expenses. And then this blue round dot is your safe withdrawing rate. And what this simply represents is at this point where these two things intersect, this blue line here on top and these blue dots, at that point, that is when you can pump up your chest, even change your voice. You can even develop an American accent and insult your boss. Because at that point, your expenses are going to match your investments that you can start withdrawing from. So the key here is to get these two things together. This dot should reach this blue line. And you can see, I am nowhere near changing my voice to start insulting people. I have still got a lot of work to do. And you can see for the longest time, it was really, really flat until finally it started to go up. And the great thing with this worksheet, it even tells you exactly how much you can withdraw per year before you deplete your retirement investments. So in this case, I can only withdraw 4,000 from my investments. And no one lives on 4,000 in the whole year. Or is it per month? Is it per month or a year? Something along those lines. But the point is you need these two to reach. I think this is per month. Yes. So that is the investors challenge. Now, luckily for you, because you are part of this class, if you join before the 30th or the 31st of this October, you only need to pay $250 for the whole 6 months. After November, I'm allowing signing up to continue all the way up to the end of November in case there'll be people who still want to join. But after November 1st, you are paying the full $300. But from today until the 31st, the WhatsApp group for this investor challenge is open for $250. Do we have any comments, questions, or queries over this or anything else I have discussed? because now it's already 21:07. Okay, radio silence means two things. If I'm in my class, it means everyone has understood. Do I offer in-person meetings? Yes, via Zoom at a fee. So if you go to my WhatsApp business, you'll be able to see one-on-one consultation fees, but it's 500 kwacha per hour, and you can ask me any question. Okay. Oh, no, thank you so much. So I think we are done, unless there is anybody who has any other closing remarks. It's now 21:08. I want to close by 21:10. Yes, Shpiwe, you can go ahead and talk, please.
Yes. So when we send you the proof of payment for the 250 kwacha, do we have to state that we attended this webinar?
Yes, please do, because my other classes are also 250 kwacha. Thank you for that reminder. So I want to know whether you want the investing in stocks class. All right, thank you so much. Yes. Thank you, Natasha, for coming. Thank you, Kango, for coming and participating. Oh, before we head out, yes, Shadrach, the poll. I wanted to find out how many people actually have investing accounts.
Yes, I don't actually have a question, but I just want to say thank you for sharing your knowledge with us. I've personally learned a lot, and we hope to make a financial difference.
Yes, please. Now I've got a question. How come 48 people in this class don't have CSD accounts for stocks? Guys, please join the group by April next year. Is it May? You should be celebrating when dividends are declared, or at least have an understanding of what's going on. Even if you just buy 500 kwacha worth of shares and you're waiting for that dream job of yours, or that lump sum, which people always want to have. Okay, people have CSD accounts for government securities, but still not as much. It's even worse for unit trust. We are opening all of these things. You can't say you're an investor and you don't have all three, at least. Oh, wow. Nice. We have people with shares. People, you guys have got money. Yes. So we are going to be doing different challenges, and I hope they are going to benefit people by the time the 6 months are over. Thank you, Tabo, for coming through. Thank you, Michelle. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you, Lumbanya, as well. Please, once I share the poster publicly, please share it on your statuses in case there are friends, family, people at church that want to join as well. Yes, Esther.
Hi, Victoria.
Yes.
It's finally a pleasure to attend one of your classes.
Yes.
I'm actually connecting from Qatar. Sorry, time difference. So I'm so glad that I've been able to attend one of your courses.
Thank you.
I just wanted to say clarification on one thing. So regarding government securities, particularly bonds, I have been investing in quite a number of them. I'm yet to have one maturing next month. Quite excited, actually. Inspired by yours truly. I think I've known of your works for quite some time.
Thank you.
But just sort of like vicariously followed through it. And so one of the things that I'm not so sure about is in terms of maturity. So let's take, for example, that I invested 1,000. So after the discount, maybe they deducted about 890. So at the time of maturity, what am I getting as my return? Is it the first value I indicated? Or is it that 890 they deducted plus yield at maturity?
So you'll be getting 3 things back.
Okay.
So this is how I like to explain them. You're going to get your original investment back, the money that was actually deducted from your account. So that's the cost.
Oh, which is
value.
890. Okay.
Yes, then the difference by deducting what your face value is and the cost. And people, if there are too many complicated terminologies, I'll be explaining all of these things in the challenge, but I know she understands. So the difference, in this case, it will be approximately 110 kwacha to get the face value of 1,000, and then your last coupon payment.
Oh, interesting. Okay. No, thank you. I appreciate that. I've always wondered what the final return is like.
Oh, no,
Thank
and
you.
it comes, so when it hits your bank account, they don't separate it as 3 actually. What you receive from your bank statement will be 2 transactions. It will just be the face value and your coupon payment. But know that your face value includes your deduction and the discount interest.
Okay, great. No, thank you. I appreciate it. And thank you so much for the class.
No, you're welcome. You're welcome. Isabel, your mic is open. You can go ahead and speak if you've got something to say. Okay. Not yet. So I just sent the email address in the chat. Now I realized that the message was was being sent to someone else that was trying to be a bot. So the email address for Luce, for the apps and anything, is operations@luce.co.zm. But I will also add this to the email list as well. So for those that want it, you can quickly go in the chat and pick it. I think Pretty was the one that asked, and I hope she's still on. Oh no, she's left already. But anyways, I'm sure she's on the email list and it will be able to go. Oh wow, it's now finally even above. So thank you guys. I will be sharing the recording hopefully by tomorrow morning. You should see a link to the Google Drive and also details on how to sign up for the class. But if you have my WhatsApp, just send me a WhatsApp, and you can also find my WhatsApp on my Instagram as well as my Facebook page. Other than that, I will see you guys in the next class. And if you also have a request for a free class in November, a specific topic or an area of finance that I don't already do as a paid class, please feel free to also send me a message on the same. But other than that, I will see you guys on social or in the WhatsApp group if you're joining. Thank you and have a good night.